Tonight we would like to give you a sample of our material.
What a splendid idea.
And what better to start with than a segment from The Tailors of Poznan's.
Or the apprentice lover should never press his suit in the firm's time. Now then. Yes, now where are we now? Ladies and gentlemen, the action of this one takes place in the little village of Poznan's, somewhere in Cornwall. And the opening scene is in the tailor's workshop, which is owned by Maury King.
And run by a lot of fly-by-nights.
Yes. He is a trouser manufacturer. Oh, goodness me. You'll have to zip along a bit quicker than that, Gilbert. It gets decidedly worse. Anyway, the opening scene is the tailor's workshop, and there's a big party going on, which fills the stage with festivities. Now, Maury King is giving this party, which is very unusual for him, because although he is the wealthiest man in Poznan's...
Oh, he's a rich man.
Oh, he's loaded, absolutely. He is at the same time very mean.
He's a mean man.
You do meet them occasionally like that. Very rich and very mean. He's a bit of a schnorrer, if you know what I'm talking about. Here, watch it. Well, I mean, he's got a burglar alarm on his dustbin. You know. And he walks about the stage there with patches on his Kleenex tissues. Oh, he got them there. Well, anyway, he's giving this party for a very good reason. You see, one of his employees, young Mervyn Mindle, who is the tenor, for those who are interested, he has just completed his apprenticeship as a tailor.
Just completed his apprenticeship. You know how old he is?
Tell them, Go.
32.
He's not what you'd call quick.
Quick? I'll give you a for instance.
Oh, dear.
It took him so long to learn Hebrew, he had his bar mitzvah on his 28th birthday.
Yes, that's true.
Now, this Maury King fellow, altogether a different kettle from fish.
Yes.
Yeah, self-opinionated, egotistic, knuckle, bumptious know-all.
You have created a beautiful self-portrait.
Now, Maury King is secretly rather fond of Mervyn Mindle's mother. That's the Mrs. Ruth Mindle.
She's the contralto, for those who are interested. But I don't want you to think that this opera is permissive in any way at all. It's quite in order. It's quite kosher for Maury King to be keen on Mrs. Mindle. You see, she has been deserted for just on 20 years. So she's virtually a single girl. Yes. Incidentally, I would like you all to be particularly attentive to the information we're giving you, because Gilbert is bound to ask questions later. So if you want to make notes, use the back of the program. Now, Gilbert, will you sing the Maury King song that he sings at the party? Ladies and gentlemen, Gilbert is going to sing the Maury King song that he sings at the party, where he not only welcomes the guests to the festivities, but he makes a startling announcement which shakes everybody, particularly Mrs. Mindle, and I'll point it out when he gets to it, so don't worry.
You sure you wouldn't like to sing the song for them?
Oh, yes, yes.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that.
That is traditional. Yes.
Good evening, friends, drink up, enjoy this celebration for the boy. And though his learning was a bit slow, now he's got a trade 'cause he's learned to sew. He'll take his place for he's now a man. Now I'll unfold my secret plan.
Now here's the bit I was telling you. Yes.
For I intend to buy a ring and make Mrs. Mindle Mrs. King, for I am Maury King. And it will be a wonderful thing, this ring from Maury King. Yes, I am Maury King.
Oi, oi, what joy for Maury King.
And we'll make our wedding in the spring, 'cause I am Maury King.
And they'll have gelt and everything, hurrah for Maury King.
The time has come that I took a bride and had gefilte fish and fried, and loction soup and maybe some borscht, for I'm getting tired of eggs and vosh. I'll give her a house, a car, a poodle.
He's angestupt, you see.
I'll give her the works if she makes me strudel.
He's also guarantor to Claw.
For I intend to buy a ring and make Mrs. Mindle Mrs. King, for she will be Mrs. King. And And it must be a wonderful thing to be the Mrs. King. Yes, she'll be Mrs. King.
Oi, oi, what joy for Mrs. King.
And like the schmaltz that floats on the soup, I'll cling to Mrs. King.
And they'll have gelt and everything. Hurrah for Maury King. Well, now, I trust that 50% of that applause was for my vocalizing there.
Meanwhile, back at the Poznian's party, there is great consternation. You should excuse me.
Yes. Well, Mrs. Mindle makes it perfectly plain she's not at all keen on Maury King's advances.
Advances and schmances, she doesn't fancy the idea, no?
That's what I said.
In fact, so upset is she about it that she threatens to leave the party and take her little boy chick of 32 with her. Come on, son.
Yes.
Come on, boy.
Now, this is Goldberg's big idea of introducing some drama to the proceedings. Can you imagine that? You know, the big walkout from a party to leave everybody absolutely aghast. But when Mrs. Mindle looks around for this boy chick of 32, she cannot find him. And why not? Because Mervyn has turned out to be a poor wandering one. He has snuck outside.
Oi.
He's now in the garden.
Oi.
In the moonlight.
Oi.
With a somebody.
Oi. And that somebody turns out to be a girl.
Oh, thank God.
Who is a newcomer to the village.
Yes.
Now, her name is Sheila Sholem.
Yes.
Got that?
She is a soprano for those who are interested.
And she is the only daughter of a titled Jewish gentleman from London called Sir Oliver Sholem.
Yes.
No.
No.
He's not a spiritualist.
No, he's not.
He's an industrial psychologist. And this is one of the songs of Solomon.
This actually is the song that Sir Oliver bursts forth into whenever he's introduced to anybody new. It will give you some idea of what a busybody this gentleman is. But the correct title for this aria is The Oliver Sholem's Psalm. Thank you very much indeed. I run a school in London for industrial psychologists. It's deadly scientific, like the study of pathologists. I teach the big employers all the ways of sales psychology, like how to insult customers without giving apology. I'm very well acquainted too with users of psychiatry. With double talk, I can sell pork like it was kosher dietary. I have so many theories about shoppers being teasable. You tell them you've reduced your price and they'll believe it feasible. I have a premonition when it comes to buying out new lines, cause I'm in the position to evaluate by certain signs the impulse bug that people have who are not entomologists, and so I run a school for big psychologists. Oh, you'd be surprised the people who attend the classes that I give. From Moscow, Philadelphia, from Golders Green and Tel Aviv. The basis of my science will apply on this, you can depend, to anyone from anywhere who's simply got a dime to spend. Now a most inquiring rabbi asked me if I had a golden rule for getting him some customers to fill his very empty shul. I gave to him some counsel, and resultantly I'm pleased to say his shul's so packed each Sabbath that there isn't any room to pray. Yes. Cause everything's a question of the way you look him in the eye, and if they leave your country you must look as though you're gonna cry. I learned about star value from a popular astrologist, and so I run a school for big psychologist.
You can join in if you want to.
Now parliamentary members come to learn to sell democracy. Then buy a book I wrote on this called Thieving and Hypocrisy. I teach them all the methods that are used by advertising blokes. So when addressing Zionists, they don't make circumcising jokes. I've got a house in Downing Street in case I'm wanted for a coup. Like teaching the Prime Minister the way to make a loction soup. I have a branch in Washington at which I'm really resident. Well, I find it too expensive playing club yash with the president. I started with a little stall and made a great success of it. Well, other people had to go and made a shocking mess of it. I may be a meshuggah according to phrenology, but I've made gelt from teaching this industrial psychology. Thank you, music lovers. Thank you.
Now, this Sir Oliver Sholem character is here busybody.
Oh, you can say that again, Gilbert. My word.
Now, this Sir Oliver Sholem character is here busybody. In fact, I'll tell you, I'm often basing the characters in my operettas on people that I know in real life.
This is one of Goldberg's little quirks. He's forever doing this, yes.
And I based the character of Sir Oliver Sholem on my father-in-law.
Oh, now there's a busybody if there ever was one. Friends, do you know all of his relations are busybodies, but this father-in-law of Goldberg's takes the cake. Funny you should mention him, Goldberg. You know, I haven't seen him around lately. In fact, all this week I haven't seen him. The sort of thing he does, friends, is poke his nose into the box office to check on my share of the takings. Interfering old devil.
Just a minute, Solomon. My father-in-law is in hospital.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Gilbert. I had no idea the old boy was sick.
Yeah.
How long has he been in hospital? Good.
Let me see now. In 3 weeks, please God, it'll be a month. Now, as you've just heard, the Merwin Mindel and the Sheila Sholem, they fell in love on the night of their meeting at the party. You got that, haven't you? Right.
You're very colorful.
Now, the morning after the night from their first meeting...
The next day.
So Oliver Sholem, who he's just been singing about, he meets up with the Mrs. Ruth Mindel. And they fall in love right there, dot and bang on the village green. Now, this is far too simple.
Oh, this is far too simple.
There must be a complication.
Friends, if Goldberg has got anything to do with the writing of plots about the operettas, you can count on them being complicated. I'll give you that.
Listen to who's talking. He is so complicated. When he goes to see a psychiatrist, the psychiatrist lies down on the couch.
Now, don't get personal. Stick to your plot if you can find it.
Meanwhile, back in Poznansk,
the Jewish Peyton Place.
So Oliver Sholem and Mrs. Mindel agree to meet later at a much more private, intimate location.
London Airport.
The whilst Mrs. Mindel goes off to meet her girlfriends from Witzel.
Oh, that's the Women's International Zionist organization. I thought I'd explain it for our Welsh friends in the Grand Circle up there. All right. Got it, yes, they've got
For an afternoon schmooze and a game Kaluki.
They all play Kaluki now.
Yes, and it's there where they're having a game Kaluki and a tete-a-tete and a cup tea when all of a sudden... Knock, knock, bang, bang is a ring at the bell. Aha, who's that?
No, over this side, over this And in bursts Mervyn Mindel, pale, wan, and ashen, because, you see, he's got a problem. Naturally, it's being a comic opera, he presents his problem to his mother in song. Friends, you're going to hear the problem duet now as sung between Mrs. Mindel and this idiot, fool, schlemiel, nincompoop son of hers, Mervyn. Oh, a pitiful example of humanity.
Now, for the purpose of this demonstration, I shall sing the part from Mrs. Mindel.
Goldberg, you know perfectly well that Mrs. Mindel is the part I would prefer to sing.
Yeah, well, I know what you would prefer, but believe you to me if I got a better idea for you. And the part of the absolute idiot himself, Merwin Mindel. Would you oblige, please, Sullivan? Just act normal.
Oh, he's such a comic, isn't he?
Solomon.
It's enough to give Yulbrunner dandruff, I'm telling you. I refuse to make a fool of myself.
Solomon, play.
Now, Mama, dear, come talk to me. I got a problem on my head. I'm getting on for 33 and I'm supposed to wed. 'Cause I'm in love with Sheila, who already wants to don my socks.
No.
So here's my problem now for you. My Sheila's orthodox.
She's orthodox.
She's orthodox. My Sheila's orthodox. I swear this by her shidled locks that Sheila Shollem's orthodox. Oh, Mama! She's orthodox, she's orthodox, and Sheila Shollem's orthodox. Yeah, she's orthodox. Oh, Mama, help me with my problem, Mama. I gotta find it a solution.
I must confess I cannot see how this affects your married life. For surely it is better she won't dish you up with tripe.
But, Mama dear, it's not the food. I do not mind the way I'm fed. do I, Mama? Mama, my Sheila, she's so strict, she thinks it rude to have a double bed. She's orthodox.
So orthodox?
My Sheila, shall have orthodox.
Rather than be left on the rocks.
Yes, Mama?
So weather girl, who's orthodox?
Thank you, Mama. She's orthodox, she's orthodox, she's orthodox, she's orthodox. She's orthodox.
Now follows the traditional encore. It's the one that you get whether you want it or not. And it would be this number.
So long as she's a real nice girl who understands the way you think, who won't expect a row of pearls, a nightdress trimmed with mink.
My Sheila is a lovely miss who's not too thin and not too stout. But on Saturday night I get no kiss until the Sabbath. Ow. She's orthodox.
So orthodox?
My Sheila shall have orthodox.
So long she don't want diamond rocks.
Yes, Mama.
So what if she's so orthodox?
Thank you, Mama. She's orthodox, she's orthodox, and Sheila shall have orthodox. She's orthodox. She's orthodox.
You needn't have taken a vote on that one either. No, I don't want you to leave this theatre with the wrong impression. I admit we've got an imbecile in the cast. His mother has been deserted for 20 years. Maury King would like to marry her, but doesn't get anywhere near it, and Shmuel is the most unsuccessful matchmaker in the business. No, friends, it is a comic opera.
Oh, it's a comic opera. It's a laugh a minute.
Yes. And just to prove how jolly it is, we're going to end this segment on this opera with a song of good news.
Mazel tov.
Oh, how classic of you to wish me good luck in Hebrew, Gilbert, because the number that I've chosen is this production number over here. It's the song where it's called a double mazel tov, you know? Yes. And there's a very good reason for a double mazel tov, a double good luck. There's to be a double wedding. I just had second thoughts. This isn't going to be easy for us to demonstrate, being a production number. Those friends in the audience who are not clear on theatrical terms. A production number is one in which each and every member of the cast have a few lines to sing.
And unfortunately, we couldn't afford to bring the entire Goldberg and Sullivan Opera Company with us.
No.
And in any case, most of them are his relations. And with his relations, you can take them anywhere twice. Second time to apologize. But I tell you what, I've got an idea. Look, do me a favor. Kindly imagine that I am a half a dozen people.
I say, give a cook at the Beichel, Dalton, there. Look at that stuff. Acres and acres of genuine kosher schmaltz, I tell you. Genuine kosher schmaltz. I think he was intended for twins, but they forgot to separate him.
I'll have you know I'm wearing my Playtex Gutkas.
Tell me, Gilbert, what is your Playtex gut case supposed to do?
It's supposed to make me look 5 pounds 10 thinner, no?
Only in the pocket. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to picture now, on this side of the stage here, on your left, comes a young couple. There's young Mervyn and Sheila, arm in arm, lovely couple. And on the other side, there, over in the prompt corner, we have Mrs. Mindel, that's Mervyn's mother, arm in arm with Sir Oliver Sholem, Sheila's father. And then, all right, go on. Now, when the two couples meet on the stage and announce to the company who are standing in the traditional G&S horseshoe arrangement, they always stand like that, in spite of modern medical means. Anyway, they stand like that, and when they are told that there's to be a double wedding, everybody's deliriously happy, with the exception of Playtex Gutkas King over there. who's very long in the face. He's lost his girlfriend. Now, this moment in the opera, as far as I'm concerned, is hysterically funny. I have fits in the pit every night.
Hysterically funny. No, just for that, you can sing all the parts now.
Oh, thank you
No,
for
no.
nothing.
Mervyn Mindel.
Mazel tov, a double mazel tov. I'm getting red, I'm going to be a tough. Sheila and I are going to book the Rov. Come on, won't you wish us mazel tov?
Sheila Solemn.
Oi, oi, what joy I feel. This is all so sudden.
Cost you plenty naden.
I'm filled with joy and verve ever since I met my Merv.
Mervyn.
Oi, what joy we feel. We have found each other and we're taking order. Sheila and I will strive to keep the middle name alive.
The mind boggles.
Oh, you can just boggle with Maury King, because I'm having a rest. Off you go, you sing Maury King.
Took me 20 years to teach the boy. Now when he's worth something to employ, he can go ungrateful youth. But I'm saddened more by losing Ruth. Now this is Ruth Mindel, played on our recording by Miriam Carlin.
Smile, please, Maury, do yourself a favor. You look like you're off to a midsavor. Do you have some feeling in your bichle left for me?
Oliver Solemn.
Maury King, things are not so bad. Raise a smile, it shows you're not sad. In your heart, although of course you grieve, you knew both of them one day would leave.
Mrs. Mindel.
I feel just like a bride, yet I must look solemn, 'cause I'll be Lady Shown. My life has turned out right, and after I'll be wed in white.
So it in white.
Some chutzpah Ruth in white.
And so all right, we'll let our Ruth be a bride, all decked out in white.
Our next opera, ladies and gentlemen, takes us to the land of opera itself. Italy.
Italy, home of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Anagoni.
And Gracie Fields. It's our latest collaboration, just completed, and we are calling it The Chandeliers.
Yes.
Now, this one tells the story of the two inferior decorators, Marco Applebaum and Giuseppe Guggenheim, who have been together ever since they met in the art school in Rome.
Now there, these two boys shared everything. I'm glad you got that subtle wink there, ladies and gentlemen. Without that, the whole thing has no meaning at all. Now, this is revealed in the prologue before this, our most spectacular opera. They get on so well together in the art course in Rome, they decide to open an interior decorating salon in Venice. And it's in Venice where Act One takes place.
Ah, Venice. You know Venice, eh?
We know Venice, of course.
That's the place where all the pavement artists do their paintings in watercolors.
Yes. Yes, it's true. Now, when the curtain rises on Act One, you will see this is our most spectacular opera because the entire stage is flooded with water.
Flooded with water.
Water absolutely everywhere. Incidentally, this opera is very rarely produced.
And I can't think why. How expensive is water?
Yes. Anyway, let's discuss the two stars, Marco and Giuseppe. These two lads are bent on making a success of their job. They are, and they do everything together. You know, they study together, and now they're living together, they're working together, they do everything together. They saw the boys in the band together. They wear the same peculiar clothes, walk the same strange way, share the same hair lacquer, same pink...
Solomon, do you mind?
What is it, Gilbert?
Gracious me, the way you're talking about those two boys, Marco and Giuseppe, anybody would think they were...
Pray, tell me, what does "y" mean when it is translated?
But you want I should paint you a diagram?
Gilbert, all I'm asking you to do is to speak the Queen's English. No.
Don't I have enough difficulty speaking my own? The way you're talking about those boys, Marco and Giuseppe, anybody would think they were... like that.
Oh, but of course they were, Gilbert, of course they were. As a coot.
Are you for sure?
Of course I am. Of that there is no possible doubt, no possible probable shadow of doubt, no possible doubt whatever. Both of them.
Well, all I can say is I'm absolutely flabbergasted.
Oh.
Really?
No, ladies and gentlemen, I think at this juncture in the evening I should offer my sincerest apologies on behalf of my collaborating partner. He claims to have given birth to these characters in this creation of his, and yet by his own admission he has no conception what they are up to, and I do apologize for this
Just a minute, clever dickle. Our character can get out of hand, you know.
Don't talk.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you another for instance.
Don't go.
Was a friend of mine, a colleague of mine, a writer. Some of you here may even have heard of him, Shalom Aleichem.
Oh, yes, Shalom Aleichem.
The rich man's Godfrey Wynne. I'll never forget once he started writing a book. When he started writing it, it was called The Pill. And by the time he'd finished it, it was called The Birth of a Nation. So don't tell me what...
Come on, Gilbert, let's get back to the boys.
You make your own arrangements.
Now look, Gilbert, I'm warning you. Will you just stick to your plot and describe the set on the stage behind the canal?
Yes.
The interior decorating.
Oh, yes. With it. Well, they've got their blue marble,
yes,
pink marble, gold cupids,
Olivetti equipment everywhere,
indoor fountains with running hot and cold water. Every modern inconvenience they've got there.
They've got everything excepting a receptionist.
So what did they do?
We'll tell them.
They asked their cook housekeeper if she would like to give them a handout there at the reception counter in the salon. Now, she agrees, provided they let her operate a salt beef sandwich bar right there, Dalton, bang in the middle of the reception counter.
Yes. Now, this housekeeper receptionist cook is a Mrs. Greenberg from Florence. No, friends, no relation to Mrs. Florence Greenberg, who everybody knows as the Yiddish galloping gourmet. No. This is a Mrs. Gloria Greenberg. She's a reformed Jewish lady. And she learned the art of cooking from her late husband.
He was an accountant.
Yes. You must agree with me, it is a very unique setup, an interior decorating salon in Venice with a built-in nosh bar there, right in the center of the reception area. But this is one of Goldberg's devices, one of his, where he uses plenty of theatrical license here. It gives him an opportunity to give Mrs. Greenberg some very interesting recipes to sing. Why don't you do that one, that famous one of hers in Act 1?
A cordon essen bleu?
Yes. Sing
No, I'm doing it. No, I'm going to do latkes for the masses.
No, sing cordon
Latkes
essen
for the masses. I fancy that one.
All right.
Okay, suck it to me, Solomon. Take a pair of pizza pies, grate a slice from camembert, add a spoon of water and lime, sprinkle chocolate on some rice, and to show you've got the flair, add a pinch of sage and thyme. Let it simmer through the night, gently stir it on the hour. Be particular in this, if it sticks, and well it might, add a grain from home pride flour. Oi, what a joy is awaiting you, for its taste is bliss. No, serve it from the pot, to ensure it's piping hot, 'cause if it's not, indigestion may arise. Waving goodbyes to your lovely pair of pies, pizza pies. Take a lovely chicken breast, Dunk it in some kosher wine, and then hang it out to dry. You've got time to take a rest, for to make the taste divine, you should let a month go by. Add some fresh-made cottage cheese.
Oh, no, you don't, Gilbert.
Oh, no, you don't. No.
Look, if this is going to be a kosher recipe, isn't it? Well, you should know that you are not allowed to mix the meat with the milk. Am I wrong? No. Well, sort yourself out.
So forget the cottage cheese. Substitute with gooseberry jam. Be particular in this, for the taste is bound to please any gourmet noshing man, and you will be satisfied, for its taste is bliss. No, what a treat you have in store. You are bound to shout encore, asking for more. Fill yourself, you lucky man, everything's fresh. There is nothing from the can. Lucky boy, eat, enjoy.
Anybody who risks sampling Mrs. Greenberg's little recipes before going on a journey is bound to end up sic transit gloria. But three-quarters of the way through Act 1, there is a member of the cast, a tenor, for those who are interested, who happens to be an executive director with the Eurovision Television Network. It's a very modern opera, this. Oh, yes. And he presents Mrs. Greenberg in a very touching little scene there, with a contract to do cooking programs, which are shown all over the network every week. Now, she insists that the program should be telecast in her own little nosh bar area there in the interior decorating salon. What a setting for a cooking program. Fountains and cupids and things. And she also insists that Marco and Giuseppe should appear in the program as host and hostess. Now, this is a magnificent commercial for their business, which is, as I say, seen every week all over the continent. Now, that takes care of a very busy and colourful Act 1.
Act 2. Change of location. Meanwhile, over in Spain...
You all right, Gilbert?
The Duchess Platz Oratorio, who's a regular viewer of the Greenberg television spectacular, points out to her husband, the Duke, that as their stately home is in need of a freshening up all round, that they should send for Marco and Giuseppe, the two inferior decorators from Venice.
Yes, now you see, this Duke, he's not at all handy round the house with a paintbrush. He's more of an outdoor chappie, you see, growing roses. With great success. He's got a big lot of red and white roses. We've got a big chorus about the red and white roses he grows in Mallorca there. In fact, this rose growing, after several years of cultivating some beauties behind his tool shed, at the bottom end of his garden, this Duke has developed a particular strain.
And we're not at all surprised.
No. But he's a clever chap.
Oh, this Duke is a clever chap.
Yes.
He runs his stately home. What a business he does with that stately home. He runs it like a sort of a Claridge's holiday camp.
Yes. So if you're looking for a camp Claridge's holiday, you know exactly where to go.
In fact, I'll tell you something. In the trade, the Duke is known as Woban Abbey.
Yes. That's fair. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to perform the song the Duke sings in Act 2, which describes how he got this title and how he got to this position in Mallorca. Very enterprising fellow. Yeah. I'm the Duke Platz Oratorio, and I'll tell you how I earn my daily dough. I've put my palace here on show on this island of Mallorca. The tourists come by charter plane to see my stately home in Spain, and all of them come back again, 'cause I'm a clever talker. I have formed myself a company with limited liability. The directors are the wife and me, 'cause we're in this for money.
Oi, oi, what a clever boy, he's making pots of money.
Now in Spain we've really made the grade. Each season we expand our trade. There's lots of money to be made here where the weather's sunny.
He's got the business you should see. I'd like a piece of it for me.
Our tourist trade is sound, you see, 'cause here the weather's sunny.
Dance. Enough.
Have you done your own thing, Gilbert? Yeah. Oh. My Duchess wife, to tell the truth, is known to her friends by her first name, Ruth. We met when we were in our youth, and our courting days were heaven. We bought this place, it was just a hole, and to make it a palace was our goal. Then we changed our name by deed poll in 1947. Since then we've learned the castanets and filled our share of bassinets with little Spanish boo-boo-lets, and all of them have titles now.
Oi, oi, what a clever boy, he's given them each a title.
Of course, now we're Spanish aristocracy, noted for our hospitality. So when you're near, pop in for tea and taste our toasted bagels.
He's got that business, you should see. Toasted nosh with cups of tea.
A pleasure it will always be to let you taste our bagels. 2 more coffees, Mr. Forte, please. Thank you very much. No sugar, thank you. No. Now the ballroom with its marble stairs, we let it out for swell affairs. Weddings, charities, and there we stage the odd bar mitzvah. My Ruth, she dresses for each do. Her lace is always white and blue, mantillas and a lovely hue, and a bolero if it fits her. Gilbert, the bolero is higher. Guitars and Spanish dances fly in fandangos that catch your eye. The wine it flows and no one's dry. It's such a celebration.
Oi, oi, what a clever boy, what I'd give just to be a relation.
Now that you can Duchess welcome you. Just a few pesetas down will do. Our visit to the Palace Auditorium can be a revelation.
He's got that business, the gelt he's making, ooh.
Come one and all, we'll show a ball for you. A Spanish celebration. Ole! Successful businessman and jolly with it as well. I like to see there. Cheers.
Well, anyhow, the Duke, you see, he sends for the 2 boys, Marco and Giuseppe, to come over from Venice.
Yes.
And do you know, they've made so much money from this inferior decorating business. They've got their own private plane.
Naturally. 707.
That's right. One that they bought spot-net cash from El Al.
Yes.
They call it the Passover. But that's not to do about nothing.
Yeah. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is the big, spectacular moment in Act 2. Because on those rare occasions when this opera is produced, the 707 actually does come in on the stage from the prompt side over here. Comes in over here.
That's right. It flies over Big Ben there.
That's right. And it stops about over here. It's a very large plane. Then the entire side of the aircraft becomes transparent.
And you can see through it as well.
The object of this is so that you can see, the audience can see the luxury these boys have in this aircraft. You've got to see it. They've got a bathroom each, and one for Mrs. Greenberg. They've got 2 kitchens, one for the meat and one for the milk. It is a kosher Boeing, yes. And they have got floor-to-floor carpeting everywhere. Wall-to-wall television. Stereophonic telephones.
In color.
They've got a cinema projector there with the anamorphic cinemascope lens for blowing up old movies of Bette Davis. Because the boys, they like Bette Davis, you see. And in the tailpiece of the plane, they have constructed an apartment for their own private doctor who travels everywhere with the lads, just in case they feel a little queer.
Believe you to me, Liberace couldn't hold it a candelabra to this entourage.
Mind you, he has tried.
By George, he's tried.
Anyway, the door eventually opens on the plane and the boys come down, followed by all those hat boxes and Mrs. Greenberg. Then we have the pièce de résistance.
What?
There's some Yiddish for you, Gilbert. Pièce de résistance, because from this side of the stage, the OP side, comes a fleet of Rolls Royces. One has the Duke in it, the second one has the Duchess, and there's one for each of the children. Now they pick up a boy, a bag, and Mrs. Greenberg, and off they go to the palace. What a banquet. Chandeliers everywhere, the stage is a glitter. Then, after a good night's rest, or words to that effect, the boys are up and at it first thing in the morning.
What?
At work, Gilbert, with a piece of paper and a pencil. And in our final song this evening, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to perform the Decorator's Gavotte, as sung in the opera by Marco and Giuseppe. It'll tell you how they planned the renovation. Thank you very much.
Just a minute, Solomon. I want a quick word with our friends. As you know, my friends, it was only about 6-7 minutes ago that Solomon pointed out to me certain characteristics about Marco and Giuseppe which had never occurred to me before. I think what I'm trying to say is, okay, it says in the program we shall sing the Decorator's Gavotte, so we'll sing the Decorator's Gavotte. But please remember, we are actors.
Yes.
We don't want people coming backstage afterwards asking for Miss Goldberg and Lady Solomon. Or it'll cost you plenty.
At least a carton of cigarettes.
Rothmans.
King size.
King size, queen size, circum, so long as it's Rothmans.
Come along there. Stand like a teapot.
Like that.
No. An Italian teapot.
Very good. Like that.
That's it.
I suggest we paint the kitchens yellow.
Yellow isn't in now, I'd say puce.
Puce in a kitchen?
Yes.
Stupid fellow. When it comes to colours, you're obtuse.
Oh, is no imagination. No sense of sensation, is colourblind in both eyes and myopically inclined.
You're such a menace, I'll send you up to Venice with a colour chart imprinted by my foot on your behind.
Promises. Mamma mia, Frank Sinatra, plus the swear words that I never learned in Rome.
Gondolier, doily Cartra, how I wish that you had stayed at home.
Right. I'm going back to my Coliseum and I'll tell our friends, just you wait till I see 'em.
You're such a boa.
Likewise, I'm sure.
Oh, look at him, eh? Now we know what happened to Baby Jane then.
Here. I'll give you Baby Jane in a moment.
Yes, over my dead body.
That can be arranged.
No, it's a shame. He hasn't been the same since they bombed the Queen's Hall, you know.
You speak for yourself.
Come along, Giuseppe, let us still be friends. We have got a job on which our livelihood depends.
Let us make a truce now, let us make amends. Let's live up to our trade sign, which is Homo sapien.
I think the kitchens should be mellow.
Oh, if we're to argue, what's the use? Oh, I just had the duckiest idea.
Yeah.
I have ever. Struck me right there.
So?
Let's have the ceilings painted in yellow. And to compromise, we will paint the walls in puce.
Yes, I like that.
Oh, that sounds super.
Yes, I like that, yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see the finished result myself.
Should be lovely.
Yeah.
Where'd you like to go now, then?
Well, I myself, speaking personally, if I might be so bold,
Yes.
as to suggest, would like to go to the throne room.
You'll die in that throne room. I, on the other hand, would like to go to the ballroom.
To the where?
To the ballroom.
Oh, yes, trust you to want to
Now
go
watch
to the...
it. Let us fit the ballroom out with curtains.
Oh, I'm simply mad for O'Donnell.
Mad he is of that, I am quite certain. What is the Italian for schlemiel?
Oh! Once again he started. Maybe when we've parted, he will learn his lesson, but by then 'twill be too late.
What makes you think I need you? You can go where I freed you. All that glitters is not gold, especially when it's plate.
You run and wash your mouth out. Molto grazie, prima donna. Arrivederci mio amico. Stupido, I've told him off. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when you can take a certain amount and you can't take any more. And I've had my fill. Oh, look, you've been biting my nails again, too. Oh, look.
I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, don't you lower your voice to me. Schaefer, worse than Trafer, Schlumpf the muzzle, not to mention Schmo.
Right. You're much too much. I shall pack my things now.
Mind how you go, don't forget your rings now.
I'll go and soon.
You'll change your tune.
Marco.
Yes, Giuseppe.
I have just changed my tune.
Blimey, that's quick, isn't it?
Well, you know me, I don't take long to change. Back now to the palace, we've so much to do.
Now about that ballroom, shall we paint it peacock blue?
Anything you say, Mark, I'm for pleasing you. Blue or green or in between, from you I'll take the cue.
Why no?
What?
In the entrance hall, I will sculpt a Venus.
A what?
A Venus. No.
What?
I'll make him a youth.
A what?
A youth.
Yes.
In the nude.
Yes.
In bronze.
And in his hand he can hold his fig leaf. Tra-la-la-la-la, oni swagi
Our operas mirror life as life really is. You know, one minute happy. We may have our disagreements, but deep down he knows I'm always right.
Out of the mouths of apes and sucklings cometh forth rubbish. Friends, before we do leave the theatre tonight, we would like to make mention of a list of people without whose cooperation this extravaganza could not have taken place in such splendor before your very eyes.
Firstly, we would like to thank our parents.
Yes.
Gilbert and Sullivan.
Yeah. They're not our parents. No. We'd like to thank the management for having us. We've been nicely had, thank you. We loved every moment of it. No, what's this?
Like to thank...
What's this notice here?
Oh, have you got it?
Pie Record Company wish to thank the Society for the Preservation of Wild Life for the loan of the cast. Yes. Oh,
I'd like to thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a wonderful, wonderful audience.
No question.
No, I would go so far as to say that you have been the finest Monday night audience we played to this week.
Yes, and thank you. You've made it a financial pleasure. Thank you very much. Oh yes. Now we would like to just say that we you know, if you see we're advertised, and if you've got any friends, you will tell them. That's of course if you've enjoyed the show.
That's right. Yes.
Yes.
If
of course.
Yes. If you haven't enjoyed the show,
Oh,
well,
gat for the chullis.
yes. Then
Take a stum powder. We've indulged, though somewhat frugally, in a marriage that conjugally must conceive a brand new track.
Shield of David,
Union Jack. For our birth is quite beyond control. Be you Russian, Prussian, Greek or Pole,
born a Jacob,
or plain Jack,
born a Taffy,
or a Mac. Now you've heard our kosher version of a thought that's quite Gilbertian. So we'll say it once again, that they might have been,
well, they might have been
a pair of grand old Jewish men.